My name is Mike Hanlon. I'm the Executive Director of the Zionsville Chamber of Commerce. So pleased to see such a strong turnout today and for this important event. I'd like to thank the Indianapolis Executive Airport, Jet Access for serving as our host today, as well as our various event sponsors. This event is made possible by the continued strong collaboration between Mayor Stayer and the town of Zionsville. So we appreciate all that the town does to support the chamber. I'd now like to invite to the podium Jason Plunkett, who serves as our town council president.
This is really big font. This is really big font. This is not the whole speech, so don't worry. All right. Thank you, Mike. Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to thank the Chamber for hosting this event and for having me here today. For those of you who know me, you know I never miss a chance to acknowledge my incredible wife, Brittany, and whenever I have a microphone. And since today's her birthday, I just want to say happy birthday. And if you see her out and about, please do the same. I'd also like to thank the mayor for inviting me to be a part of this event, and again to the Chamber for your continued support for all that you do, advocating, connecting, and championing our business community. Thank you for giving me a few minutes this morning. I've served on the council since July of 2017. I joined the council because I wanted to help make Zionsville just as incredible for my kids as it has been for me. And I believe that we are doing a good job of making that a reality. That doesn't mean it's always easy. This is my 9th budget cycle, and every year brings a new set of challenges. With expenditures and revenues, the unknown impact of SB 1 will no doubt affect local municipalities for years to come, forcing us to make tough decisions and careful review of every department's spending. What is SB 1? Senate Bill 1, or Senate Enrolled Act 1, is a major property tax overhaul that became law earlier this year. While the legislature may revisit this in the next session, if no changes are made, we in the town of Zionsville could face more than a $1 million impact on our next budget cycle. SB 1 will affect everyone, and we're no different there. But where we are different is how our town staff responds. They understand budget realities that we face each year. While they advocate strongly for their teams, they've helped us pass balanced budgets that focus on our town's fundamental needs. Our police, fire, and DPW are central to our public safety mission. This council, like those before it, is committed to fiscally responsible spending, and we've been intentional about saving for challenges just like this. We'll continue to control the controllables, and as I have to continuously remind myself, we need not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Zionsville is also different because of our uniqueness, our stories, our history, and our people. Our brick-paved streets, our small-town charm, and our thriving local businesses help to make this special place to live and to work. Whether it's long-standing businesses like Cobblestone or DK Pierce, who recently celebrated 25 years, 530 Homes celebrating 13 years, or newer companies like Intelligent Living and 120 Water, which started right here in Z-Works and have exploded into thriving organizations. These are the kinds of success stories that create jobs and strengthen our community. And of course, GRP and RLL in Creekside, a campus that's truly like no other campus in the country, right here in the town of Zionsville. We do have levers to pull if SB 1 remains as is. One key lever is implementing the community's vision through our comprehensive plan. I want to thank my fellow council members, many of whom are here today, for their hard work and engagement with residents throughout this process. And for everyone here, please know that you can and should reach out to your counselors. We are listening to what you have to say. If I could, my counselors right here, Joe Stein, Sarah Sampson, Craig Melton, and Brad Burke, if you guys just want to stand, and Tim McElderry, if you guys just want to stand up real quick. Thank you for your service to the town. I know it has certainly not been easy. The comprehensive plan will help us address some of the challenges that SB1 may bring by identifying areas of thoughtful commercial growth that align with the integrity and values of our community. And before I close, they didn't give me a time limit here, so I'm going to shut it down, though. Before I close, I hope those of you who didn't take the time to race to renew your tickets last June at least grabbed your seats for the Grand Prix and the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500 when they went on sale yesterday. If not, I'm sure our next speaker can help you out. Although Doug, as he's walking up here, I could use some help getting closer to the start-finish line or turn one. I'm not picky. But it's my pleasure to introduce the president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and IndyCar and proud Zionsville resident, Doug Bowles.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for that nice introduction and a reminder that it is really important that you get your tickets to every event at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But as I start every speech off, we are 207 days away from the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500, and I cannot wait. I literally wake up every morning about a mile west of here in our house where Beth and I have lived now for almost 25 years. It'll be 25 years in February. And I used to have a countdown clock that helped me know when the Indy 500 happens. I started doing that in 2016 as we were leading to the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500. And now it's just sort of embedded in my head, and I can't have a speech or talk to somebody without saying 207 days to the 110th running of the Indy 500. I probably will say it 15 times today, and that helps me remember that tomorrow will be 206, and I work my way around. But I started it as a reason to connect with people, as a reason to call customers every night on my way home from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to say, thank you so much for being a customer of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We don't get to celebrate the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500 without you. I know it's a commitment. Thank you so much. And these conversations turned into amazing opportunities to hear from customers about what makes the Indianapolis Motor Speedway special. And not unlike Zionsville, we've been around for a long time, over a century, over 150 years for the town of Zionsville, over 100 years for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And that history and tradition is what makes us special. That history and tradition is why people continue to come back. That history and tradition is who introduced you to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You remember your first time you came to the town of Zionsville. You remember your first time that you moved into the town of Zionsville. You remember your first time you walked through Gate 1 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with your dad as a 10-year-old in 1977, going to your first Indy 500 and thinking, oh my gosh, you know, if I could go back and tell that 10-year-old in May of 1977, just wait, buddy. You love this place right now. You wait until you get to see what happens in your life at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There's a place at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway called the Holman Terrace Club. The Holman Terrace Club is an area where we used to have 27 suites. It's now 9 suites and like a quarterback club for 1,200 people. It's sort of an open club. And the Holman Terrace Club is HTC. Well, HTC is something that's really important to me that I think about every day that makes the Speedway special. It's our history, it's our tradition, and it's the impact we have on community and the community that celebrates around the Indy 500. Well, HTC completely defines the town of Zionsville. It's about the history of the town of Zionsville, the things that have happened in the town of Zionsville, the traditions that we all hold so dear in the town of Zionsville. Main Street in the town of Zionsville is such a tradition, such history. How much pride do we have when we bring anybody from around the world to downtown Zionsville? It is an unbelievable experience. Beth and I travel the world, especially in the United States, and every time we go to a community, we find those little places out of the way that are so special, those communities that mean so much. And we always look at each other and say, you know, how fortunate are we that we live in one of those communities? We live in one of those communities that we can't wait to find when we travel. So 365 days a year, we are in one of those communities. That history, that tradition is what makes us so special. But the thing that really bonds it all together is the community. At the Indianapolis 500 and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it's 350,000 people who show up on race day for the Indy 500. It's the second largest city in the state of Indiana is inside the racetrack at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And you think about that community. So 38 countries, 50 states are represented in the grandstands. When Back Home Again in Indiana is performed, that moment, there are 350,000 people. I don't care where they came from. They're Hoosiers. That community, that place is really community. It's founded on the people. And that's what makes Zionsville so special. We care so much about our town. Look how many people have shown up here on a Wednesday morning to talk about the state of Zionsville, to hear from our mayor on the direction of the town and how we are going to continue to protect what makes us so special, but at the same time, move a little bit so that we can grow and continue to compete. And that's the challenge the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has had. In 2016, as we led into that 100th running, we had what we called Project 100. We were investing in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. One of the opportunities we had was to tear down the entire front stretch and build a new stadium. So when you came in, you'd come into this brand new amenity that you're used to when you go to Lucas Oil Field or you go down to the Cowboys Stadium. You go to these stadiums, these amazing new amenities. And we looked at it and we said, this is really, really powerful. Daytona International Speedway did it, right? They turned their whole grandstands into something completely different. But we looked at it and we thought, you know what? That's not our DNA. We have to remain true to our DNA, but at the same time, make those adjustments to allow us to offer the amenities that you expect when you go to a big event. So instead of tearing down the grandstand, we built some new ones. We didn't paint our grandstands different colors. We left it the same color, that industrial steel and green feel that you get to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Because when you walk in, I want you to know that you're coming to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway that your grandpa brought you to or your mom or dad brought you to. It needs to feel like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway you love, but we have to offer you something to keep you coming back. So we have Wi-Fi now. We have digital ticketing if you want it. I don't want it for the Indy 500. I want to have that ticket, right? And I've told people, as long as I'm president of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we'll give you a physical ticket if you want one. And it's funny, we give our customers an opportunity to pick one or the other. 91% of our customers says, give me the paper ticket, right? It is part of that event. Now we'll offer you digital tickets everywhere else, and if you are comfortable with that, great, you can have one. But for that event, we're going to keep that, to me, as part of our DNA, and it's really part of what makes it special. The town of Zionsville is in the same spot. We have so much special in our community, but at the end of the day, we have to be able to adjust enough to make sure that we continue to grow. And with leadership like Mayor Stair and the council, I think we're going to get there. Our chamber has done an amazing job of pumping up the reasons to be in the town of Zionsville. The other thing I think we have, and that we all as a community believe in, that is the same as the Speedway, the town of Zionsville and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway will not continue to grow if we don't invest in our youth. There is not a better school system in the state of Indiana than the Zionsville school system. We're not Carmel. We don't have 5,000 students. We're about half of that in Zionsville schools. But we are investing in our kids, and investing in those kids and helping them to understand what's core and central to the values of Zionsville will help us continue to grow Zionsville. It will allow young people to continue to want to move to Zionsville and continue to invest in that. And 20 years from now, when the state of the town is being spoken, the state of the city is being spoken about, this whole crowd will change and will be younger. We do the same thing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You have to invest in youth, and that is part of that community connection. And I love the fact that this town does such a great job of us focusing on our schools, making sure we're investing in our kids, and making sure we do everything to keep them there. So thank you. So I'll go back to HTC, and then I want to introduce our mayor here to talk through the town. So it's about our history and tradition. You know, we often talk about the fact that Abraham Lincoln came to the town of Zionsville in 1861. That is a super important piece of it. Our investment in our parks, the green spaces that we have, is part of our history and our tradition that makes the town so special. But we also have to be sure that as we continue to go forward, our history and tradition will not be the thing that allows us to continue to be successful. We have to pivot a little bit without offending what's true and really core and central to our DNA. So that is the challenge that we have as leaders in our community, as residents in our community. How do we do that? But first and foremost, we cannot ever let the community feel that we have here, our investment in community, how we work together to make Zionsville the best community in the state of Indiana. Community is the foundation upon which it's all built. As I said, Beth and I have been here now for almost 25 years. When our realtor brought us out here in the fall of 2000, we were driving up Michigan, and he turned on 200 South heading west towards 900, and there was nothing up here. And I thought, where in the world is this guy taking us? I thought we were in the middle of nowhere. What I didn't realize is we are in the middle of somewhere. We are in the middle of this state. We are so close to everything. We can get to everything from the town of Zionsville, and at the end of the day, if you want to get away and relax and feel like you're in one of those quaint towns that you can't wait to find when you're on the road, we are so fortunate to live here. It's why we haven't left. A couple of years ago, all our boys are out of the house. We thought, is it time to move from here? And our boys said, absolutely not. This is home. This is where Christmas is. This is where Thanksgiving is. You cannot leave. So we reinvested in our house, so we're stuck here now. And I say that in a good way, but we are not leaving. It's an amazing town. You know, long time ago in Pennsylvania, a child was born. He had no idea, his parents probably had no idea that at some point in time he would end up going to university where he would study communications and politics. he would come to Indianapolis, and in 1995, John Stair began to tell the stories of Indianapolis, the stories of Zionsville, the stories of the state of Indiana, and we all got used to seeing him on TV. He retired from WTHR, and taking that degree of communication and politics and putting it together, he decided to do something crazy, jump into political life at a time when most people don't want to do that, so thank you very much for agreeing to do that. And in 2024 was our new mayor here in the town of Zionsville. I've gotten a chance to know him, obviously, beforehand, but certainly in his new position. We've had some coffee in the town of Zionsville together, so we've talked about how much we love this town, how much this community loves this town. Excited to be here. I've flown out of this place so many times when I was on the race team side. This airport is an amazing asset for the town, for our state. Thank you for bringing us here to the airport so that we could speak together. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our mayor, John Stair.
Well, that may have been the best introduction I've ever had. Thank you, Doug. We all know Doug as a businessman and a mover and shaker in the racing world, but what you may not know is that his dad was a Hendricks County judge, and Doug himself has always had an interest in politics. So if he had made slightly different choices here, maybe he would be the one doing this State of the Town speech today. But I couldn't imagine anybody else being the head of the Speedway. I think that would leave a huge gap, and he does a great job. He is a fervent Zionsville supporter. As you heard, he's a treasure. He's a true giant in the racing world, and I am proud that he and his family are part of our town. So, Doug, thank you again. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming out here on this beautiful autumn day in what I consider to be the best town in Indiana. I want to thank the Zionsville Chamber of Commerce and their members for creating this opportunity, especially Mike Hanlon and Chris Wooldridge. I also want to thank our town staff for helping to support it, including my deputy mayor, Justin Hage, our communications manager, Alexa Ling, and my administrative assistant, Jenna Butler. I also want to thank our hosts here at the Indianapolis Executive Airport, Sam Sachs and his team, for their part in making this happen today. This is a beautiful venue, and you're going to hear in a few minutes a little bit more about why we are here today. And as Jason mentioned, we do have our town council members here today, and I want to be sure to thank them for their financial and legislative efforts over the last year and a half. You heard from Jason earlier, but also our Vice President Brad Burke is here, Councilors Sarah Sampson, Tim McElderry, Joe Stein, and Craig Melton. And I'm going to ask you guys to step up and stand up again. And ladies and gentlemen, please, a nice round of applause for our town council. And finally, I just want to issue a blanket thank you to everyone in Zionsville for their advice and support, which I get pretty much on a daily basis. So thank you so much for that. It has been a busy year. It's been a year of building upon Zionsville's strengths in a way that respects our history while recognizing that evolution is the key to a prosperous community in the coming years. And this begins at Town Hall in the heart of our town, among our team. And let me tell you, you will not find a better group of municipal employees in the state of Indiana, from our public safety personnel to our DPW crews, our inspectors, town planners, our parks department, and everyone who supports them with administrative help. They understand that their job is to serve the rest of us who live here. Not all of our jobs are glamorous, but they all matter to the health and welfare of our community. Now, some people would say government needs to run more like a business. But it's not a business. A business thrives on competition. We have no competitors. If you want a building permit, you have to come to us. You don't have a choice which police department or fire department responds when you need them. The good service that we have here and that we've come to expect in Zionsville comes from the heart of Hoosier hospitality and from staff members who are happy generally to come to work in the morning and feel supported in their roles. And that is a credit to our department heads who do a wonderful job of communicating with our employees and making sure they have the tools they need to do the jobs that we're asking them to do. Our DPW director, Lance Lance, Finance Director, Cindy Poor, Planning and Building Director, Mike Dale, HR Director, Joe Keel, Park Superintendent, Jared Logsden, Police Chief, Mike Spears, and Fire Chief, Jamie Van Gorder. They are all here this morning, and I want to publicly and personally thank them for all that they do. And I would ask you all to stand up, and please, ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for them. And as our employees take care of us, I think it's important that we take care of them. And to that end, we're about to undergo a 2-year process to put dozens of our employees in an even better position to do their jobs. It will start with the construction of a new municipal services building to permanently house DPW and provide a temporary location for our parks maintenance teams. The one out of which both are operating today is outdated and too small for the growth of our town. We aim to build a larger, more modern facility on town property near Trailside Elementary School. And we hope to break ground on that by the second quarter of next year and occupy the new building in the first half of 2027. And coming in behind that will be a project to rebuild Fire Station 291 on Ford Road across from Boone Village, where we have the pancake breakfast, by the way, every year. The current station is no longer adequate, and our firefighters can use the current municipal services building as a temporary home while the replacement station is being built. And we're also planning a new fire department facility in western Zionsville, where the Perry Township Volunteer Fire Department is about to conclude a 65-year run of serving our community. Our goal is to get that up and running by the end of 2026. Our town council has voted to approve funding for purchase of land along the Michigan Road corridor for a future fire station to serve the growing population in that part of town. Now, to make these kind of moves at a time when our budget is limited by actions of our state legislature is hard. There is nothing glamorous about it, but it is necessary to plan for the future we all want, where we and our neighbors are safe, secure, and well served by our town. Public safety is the most important thing that any municipality does. Providing them with the best possible facilities and equipment has a direct impact on the way we support our citizens. We're also adding to Zionsville's quality of life. Our town council appropriated the money to complete the early build-out of the Carpenter Nature Preserve, which we plan to open to the public in 2026. 215 pristine acres that will be the first park in the former Union Township and the largest nature preserve in Boone County. The far-reaching private and public support for Carpenter includes a $3 million grant from Indiana's Next Level Conservation Trust and a $500,000 grant from its Land and Water Conservation Fund. The private Zionsville Parks Foundation has raised more than $1 million to support recreation programs and also our parks in the last 4 years. In the heart of our historic village, we're moving forward with revitalizing Lincoln Park, which is so important to the identity of our town. And on our brick street, we have new businesses opening, 100% occupancy in all of our buildings. Main Street Zionsville, led by Erica Carpenter, has begun promoting the historic heart of our town, sponsoring events and highlighting not just the history, but also the modern amenities that our village has to offer. She's also been a stalwart in our Chamber of Commerce. And Erica is here today. Erica, I'd like you to stand up as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Erica Carpenter. Another way we're supporting the people of Zionsville is through good financial management. And I'm proud to say that we have made great progress in that area since the beginning of our term. At that time, our credit rating had fallen, and Standard & Poor's attached a negative outlook. Through sound financial management, new internal control policies, new purchasing rules, and improved and appropriate communication with our town council, we have been successful in restoring our credit rating, and S&P has removed the negative outlook. We have been through 3 financial audits by the State Board of Accounts and a federal audit since that time, and have shown significant progress in our standards and practices, bringing us into full compliance with all state and federal reporting requirements. Whew, that's a mouthful, but thank you. Thank you so much. But it means that our finance department is performing at a high level, and now we have to show consistency. And one of the ways we do that is through our 5-year financial plan, so that yearly budgeting isn't done in a vacuum and that every expense is plotted on a 5-year timeline. It's hard to know where you're going if you don't have a map. Well, we have a map, and we will follow it to make sure our town's financial profile stays strong. There are challenges, and Jason alluded to it. I think we all instinctively know, first of all, that our tax base is out of balance. weighted heavily toward residential property taxes. And this past year, the Indiana General Assembly passed a law known as Senate Bill 1, now Senate Enrolled Act 1, to give property tax relief to Hoosiers. The problem for municipalities like us is that property taxes are our main source of revenue. Now, I'm not going to stand here and say that Zionsville doesn't have enough money. Nobody wants to hear that. I get it. However, we had to make some hard choices in our 2026 budget to balance the need for services and amenities that our people expect and the dollars with which we have to provide them. The impact of legislative actions will cast a shadow over our finances for the next few years, and long term, it shows why developing a commercial tax base is so important to our town's fiscal health. This past year has seen the complete opening of Graham Rahal Performance on 106th Street. That includes unique and vintage cars, high-end motorcycles and scooters, a private social club, and Bodie's Chop House, one of the finest steakhouses in the Midwest. The Center for Sight, which will serve patients from all over the Midwest, is under construction at Creekside Corporate Park. Kreider and Exclusive Auto Sports are getting ready to break ground, along with Intelligent Living Solutions. We look forward to welcoming them all, but I want to take just a moment to highlight Intelligent Living Solutions and its founder, Dan Killinger. Dan was in the landscape design business, and he was around a lot of new construction, and he noticed that people had an increasing interest in home automation, lighting, security, access, media, all of it controlled from one intuitive place. So he started a home automation business in his garage in 2012. It did well, and he needed to expand. So he went to Z-Works. The business kept growing, and he graduated from Z-Works. In fact, he took over the Z-Works Cedar Street location to make an office for his own business, and it kept prospering. And now he is on track to build a $6 million facility in Creekside that will include other tenants too, bringing even more economic opportunity to Zionsville. This is a Zionsville success story, and I want to congratulate Dan for what he has accomplished so far and what he will continue to do in and for Zionsville in the coming years. Dan, where are you? Stand up. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Killinger. Creekside will soon be built out, finally achieving the promise we all knew it had when it opened nearly 15 years ago. And through it all, D.K. Pearson Associates has been the OG, the anchor of Creekside, since it opened its headquarters there in 2017. D.K. Pierce is one of our finest corporate citizens, and it recently celebrated 25 years in business. The advice I have received from its founder, Denise Pierce, has been invaluable. Denise, would you please stand up? Ladies and gentlemen, Denise Pierce. Thank you for everything. Creekside is one key in building up our commercial tax base, and another could be where we're standing and sitting right now, the Indianapolis Executive Airport. First, a little history. For those of you who don't know, this airport opened in the 1950s, and some of the old timers around here will tell you about the time that it served a lot of gliders and the runway was made out of grass. Well, it evolved beyond that to single-engine airplanes, a flight school, and eventually into corporate jet travel, which has made it one of Indiana's busiest airports and the 5th busiest non-towered airport, not just in Indiana, but in the United States, with over 40,000 flight operations a year and a recently expanded 7,000-foot runway. Now, as many of you know, it went up for sale in 2003, and Zionsville and Boone County decided to sit out that process, giving Hamilton County the opportunity to buy it. Under the Hamilton County Airport Authority, it has prospered even more, and a lot of folks on our side of the line have been looking for a time machine to try to go back and kind of undo that deal so we could benefit from owning this facility. Well, it turns out there is no time machine, but we have been able to form a good working relationship with our friends and partners in Hamilton County, neighboring municipalities, and some of the businesses that operate from here who are working together to expand operations in a way that will benefit us all. And I am pleased to be able to announce today that we are in final negotiations with the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol Protection Agency to put a CBP office at this airport. So individual flights will be able to arrive here and allow their passengers and cargo to go through the customs process. This is something that many have worked on, including U.S. Senators Todd Young and Jim Banks, both of whom have sent us messages for today.
Hello, I'm Senator Todd Young. It's great to share a few words with you as you gather today for Zionsville's State of the Town. I want to give a special thank you and congratulations to Mayor Stair and everyone involved in bringing the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Office to the Indy Executive Airport. Your leadership made this a reality. This new customs facility will connect Hoosiers with international markets, opening new doors for local businesses. It will attract more commerce, fuel economic growth, and make the Zionsville region an even more compelling place to live, work, and invest. With customs on site, making Indy Executive one of just 4 Indiana airports with that capability, Zionsville will continue to set the standard for forward-looking community development and collaboration. Thank you for your continued leadership and commitment to keeping Indiana a great place to call home.
Hey everybody, Jim Banks here. I'm proud to be your United States Senator and represent the great state of Indiana in Washington, D.C. Towns like Zionsville really show what makes Indiana special. Strong families, growing businesses, and neighbors who look out for each other. Our office was glad to team up recently with Hamilton County, Beck's Hybrids, and Mayor Stair to help secure a customs office for the Indy Executive Airport. This new facility will open doors for Hoosiers to connect with the world, while keeping the hometown spirit that makes Zionsville so unique. Congratulations to Mayor Stair, and thank you for your great and incredible leadership for making this happen. It's a big win that will bring jobs and opportunities right here to our community. Together, we'll keep building a bright future for Zionsville. And one more thing. Congratulations to Kent and Liz Ezra and everyone at the Cobblestone Grill, the greatest restaurant in the state of Indiana, for celebrating 25 years in business. Amanda and I and the Banks family, we look forward to the next 25 years at the Cobblestone. Thank you, and God bless.
And I think he'll be expecting a free appetizer when he comes for that ad. I just want to say I appreciate the congratulations from both of our senators, but I don't really deserve that because we are where we are today in this process because of the hard work of many, many people. And it starts with our U.S. senators who tell us that they will be with us to the end until we get across the finish line with this. Neither of them could be here today because the Senate is in session. The rest of the government apparently isn't, but the Senate is in session. But they're both represented by staff members today. Tom Fritz is here with Senator Young and Max Engling here representing Senator Banks. And we also have Congressman Jim Baird here today. Congressman Baird has been a supporter of this customs office proposal as well as the airport for the economic benefits it brings to his district. Now, we haven't fully landed that customs office just yet, but tray tables are up, seats are in their upright and locked position, and we are very close. And we will work with our partners here at the airport, as well as in Hamilton County, Westfield, and Boone County to get that plane off the ground and get that customs office open. It will require an investment to equip it and staff it, and we will all have to do our part. Those partners include the Hamilton County Airport Authority, which includes Commissioners Steve Dillinger, who is traveling today and not able to be with us, but Mark Harebrant is with us today, along with our Airport Director Sam Sachs, and Boone County Council members from Zionsville, Jennifer Hostetter, Sherry Ritchie, and Aaron Williams, and our Boone County Commissioners, Scott Pell, Tim Byer, and Donnie Lawson. All of them are with us today, and I'd like to ask you to stand, please. Ladies and gentlemen, these are our elected officials that are working so hard for all of us, and very effectively working hard for all of us. The executive director of the Indianapolis International Airport Authority, Mario Rodriguez, could not be here today, but this would not be happening without his help. He has lobbied, he has given advice, and he has helped guide this process from the very beginning. And it would also not happen without the Customs and Border Patrol Indianapolis Port Director, Brett Muller. Brett has been on board with this process from the start, as has Beck's Hybrids owner, Sonny Beck, who is building out and donating a part of his new hangar for this office with a goal of making the executive airport the runway to unprecedented economic success that will benefit all of us. Thank you both. Please stand. We also have a special guest here today, Westfield Mayor Scott Willis. Now in Zionsville, we are all fully aware of our border with Carmel, but we also have several miles of border with Westfield. And in case you haven't noticed, Westfield is marching toward the county line. It's not going to stop. But in that, there is opportunity for cooperation between our municipalities. Now, let me be very clear, very clear. I do not want to be Westfield. And I am not suggesting we try to be like Westfield. Everybody have that? Everybody get that? Zionsville must always retain its own identity. However, I have gotten to know Mayor Willis over the past few years, and I appreciate his collegiality, I appreciate his friendship, and we have developed trust. And that is why I want to do something that is really unprecedented in any State of the Town address ever. And that's invite Mayor Willis to take the microphone for a few minutes to talk about what cooperation means for Westfield, Zionsville, and really for all of our neighbors.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting me cross the border. Rumor has it there's a big football game on Friday. It seems like the annual battle between Zionsville and Westfield in the state tournament. I will not be rooting for you guys, sorry. But you're welcome to join me in Westfield for the game. I'm sure, as always, it's going to be a great battle. I love Zionsville. It's my second favorite city in Indiana. And we are truly blessed in Westfield to have neighbors like you in our community. First off, if you saw that picture, yes, that's my sugar pie. Yes, that was a bet that Mayor Stair lost in the regional championship last year in football. But he introduced to me the best pie in America. I took a lot of rounds on Facebook for making that statement from our local bakeries. But my goodness, my sugar pie, what a jewel. I've already put my order in for Thanksgiving already, and I'm already trying to recruit her to expand into my city. And believe it or not, we love Zionsville. I mean, we are very different cities, right? Westfield is on a path of very rapid growth. Hamilton County is on a path of very rapid growth. Zionsville, Boone County's taken a different approach. And I love it. And quite frankly, it complements Westfield well. When Zionsville wins, we win in Westfield. And I'd like to think vice versa as well. We're getting ready to release a new revitalization plan for our city. You're going to see things that we stole from you all, things that we love about your downtown. And no, you will not be the only one that has brick paved roads in your downtown. We're stealing that idea from you, and you'll see some of that in our community. I'd like to think our Park Street restaurants is modeled a bit after Zionsville. So we're constantly looking across the border at what you guys are doing and bringing those best practices into our community. Regionalism is very important to the state of Indiana, especially central Indiana. And that regionalism has really bonded John and I together. We have a friendship. We meet routinely. I text John probably more than I text other Hamilton County mayors, although I love them as well. But John and I are working very diligently to create a vision, quite frankly, around this airport. What a true example of regionalism. It's in the city of Zionsville. Hamilton County owns the property. I know Boone County plays a significant role in what's happening here. And Westfield is now starting to raise their hand and say, hey, we'd like to be a partner as well. Because what happens at this airport is certainly impacting Westfield. Just go to Grand Park on any weekend, especially if there's a big night tournament. You're going to see all the major universities flying into this airport, and you're going to see all the big logos on their planes. So we have definitely benefited from this. And John and I are both working on a vision collaboratively of how we can really harness this great asset to benefit both of our communities. So we'll continue to work together. And John, I just appreciate the friendship and the success you're having over here. You make Westfield better with every success.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Willis. I appreciate that. By the way, he was a walk-on football player at Purdue back, around the turn of the century, I guess is fair to say, right? And, he went, in his 2 years that he played, they went 1-1. So that seems like a little bit of a pipe dream this year. I think it might be a little harder for Purdue when they get together this year. But anyway, thank you for your kind words. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the things that you're doing, not just in Westfield, but also in cooperation with Zionsville and the rest of the region. So that's the view to the east of us. To the west, the LEAP District is coming online in the next few years. Now keep in mind where we are. We're at the Indianapolis Executive Airport. LEAP is less than 5 miles from here, and Zionsville is in the middle. So our investment in this airport now calls for vision, and I believe it will reap benefits for decades to come in Hamilton County, in Boone County, in Westfield, and especially in Zionsville. And that investment won't stop here at the airport. Attracting more people, including international travelers, to our town is one thing. Showing them good old-fashioned Hoosier hospitality once they get here is something else. Now, the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis says a good rule of thumb for a town is you should have 1 hotel room for every 100 in population. In Zionsville, we have 8 rooms, compared to a population of, nearly 35,000 people, which by my math leaves us about 340 rooms short. When people stay in hotels, by definition, they're away from home, and they eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, maybe do a little shopping, maybe some relaxing in their downtime. The need for this kind of hospitality in Zionsville is evident, and just this month, we completed a hotel study to determine if a hotel or hotels could benefit our town. That study by Hunden Partners confirms that a full-service hotel in Zionsville would fill a critical gap in the market and would keep visitor spending and corporate events within the community rather than neighboring cities. It shows that a hotel would enhance the vibrancy of downtown by attracting business and leisure travelers to local restaurants and shops, supporting small businesses and walkable economic activity. This is important, but this doesn't happen without some structure, and that is why we are close to finishing a new comprehensive plan for Zionsville that includes a steering committee of 30 volunteers from all across town, rural, urban, and the former Union and Perry townships. I think that we have not always heard the voices of our neighbors in some of those places, but I do understand that the historic nature of our rural area is every bit as important to them as our brick street is to the people who live closer to the village. Now, at the same time, we do have 67 square miles of land in Zionsville, so there is room for the kind of commercial development that will add quality of life, add to our tax base and diversify our tax base, and take pressure off of property taxpayers. Technology and innovation, advanced manufacturing, research and development, life sciences, motorsports, all possibilities as we consider what could be part of this mix. And to quote now from one of the core tenets of our comprehensive plan, Zionsville should offer a thoughtful distribution of land uses that complement one another and support both daily life and long-term financial sustainability. This balance also helps diversify our tax base, reduce traffic congestion, protect natural resources, and foster a strong sense of place. The comp plan is in its final stages. We hope to have it approved by the end of this year or early in 2026. But as we get closer to the end of 2025, we can all take comfort from knowing that the state of our town is strong and optimistic. We are strong enough to look forward with a bold and sensible vision and optimistic enough to build on what we are to become the town that we need to be. You know, Zionsville did start as a railroad town 173 years ago, but we evolved when the trains stopped coming through about 50 years ago into a place where we value education, quality of life, and where we know our neighbors and we care about them and their families. This is the spirit that defines Zionsville, and we must all do our part to keep the flame burning as the town grows, which it surely will over time. It is not new buildings that will define us. It is the essence of the people inside those buildings that will make the difference. We're not in a race with anyone. There is no deadline for when Zionsville needs to achieve certain goals. Our growth can occur naturally, but it always has been in our DNA to build upon our heritage to create, never Zionsville 2.0, but the best town we can for our children and grandchildren. And we're going to do that brick by brick. May God bless all of you and your families, our friends and neighbors, and as always, may God bless Zionsville. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Stair. And if you wouldn't mind just staying up there, we have a couple questions that have been submitted. I love hearing about the update to the comp plan. This is questions touch as on infrastructure. What is the status of State Road 334, Zionsville Road, Main Street, and near the PNC area?
We have been working for years on reimagining that area and figuring out a way that we can make it more efficient and a better front door for Zionsville. And I think we're very close. We are going to present to the town council next Monday the engineering plan and the basis for the changes we'd like to make there. And I think we will we'll look at the funding sources that we have for that. I think our funding sources are solid, including a $4 million contribution from the state, which I think will be very meaningful there. You know, I talk about this a lot, that those roads were designed 150 years ago. And if you go back, that's before cars were invented. They were designed for trains. Just not efficient, just not modern, and it just doesn't help Zionsville be the welcoming place that we know that it is on the south end of our town. So I think we are engaged in a process that will get us to a place where we can change that and we can make a better front door to our town that's going to bring in more people and make them happier once they get here.
Terrific. I know there have been a couple questions floating around social media about the battery and data centers included in the future development. Can you touch on that a little bit?
That's a hot topic. You know, no one has come forth with any sort of serious proposal to build a data center or a battery storage center here. I know what the concerns are. The concerns are, where's the electricity going to come from? Where's the water going to come from? Those are very, very valid concerns. So I think if a proposal like that does come forward, we would have to take a look at all sides of it and see if it is practical for us. But right now, we don't have anything on the table. No one has come forward with any ideas like that. And I think that if they did, there would be a lot of hills to climb before we would consider building something like that here.
Finally, on SB 1, how detrimental is it to the budget cycle?
SEA 1, it is devastating for us. And the legislature, I know we have Bo over here who's a member of the legislature, and I don't want to call you out, but I'm going to. Legislature's not helping us. They are changing a system that really impacts our revenue. So for the next couple of years, we're going to get far less revenue than we had expected that we would get. In 2028, we have an opportunity to impose a local income tax that will make up for the difference in the property tax revenue going down, but that's going to be up to the town council to find out the right band in which to impose that local income tax, and that's going to be hard. We don't like new taxes here in Zionsville. Nobody does, and I don't think our council does, but we're going to have to find the sweet spot to be able to provide the services and amenities that our people want and make sure that we have a revenue stream that's going to be able to support that.
Well, on behalf of the Zionsville Chamber, thank you so much for your time and presentation this morning.
Yeah, thank you all. Really appreciate everybody coming out.
I'd now like to invite up to the stage Mark Wallace, who serves as our chamber president.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's kind of tough to follow up from those wonderful words, Mayor Stair. I'll keep my remarks brief. Mike said to keep it to 20 minutes or less. So, but as we wrap up our State of the Town this year, I just want to take a moment to reflect on the spirit of collaboration that's in this room and the community that really defines who Zionsville is. And today's gathering really is a testament to what we can accomplish together when we come together with a purpose and with a vision. As I want to have a sincere thank you, can't talk this morning, to Mike and Chris at the Zionsville Chamber of Commerce for really organizing this event. today. And also, I want to thank the Chamber Board. If the Chamber Board I know we have several board members here. Would you mind standing real quick? Big thank you for your vision and for your leadership, for what the Chamber is, what the Chamber is going to become, and how we're going to be a force for economic development here in the Zionsville community. Deeply grateful for all of our event sponsors today. Our 2025 Business Leadership Breakfast, Church, Hiddle, and Antrim. They're here today. Thank you very much for your leadership and support. As well as our event sponsors for today, Duke Energy, Epcon Communities, and Meyer Najum. Thank you so much for your support this morning. To Mayor Stair, President Plunkett, the Town Council, and all of our elected officials who were here this morning, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your vision and your dedication to Zionsville and to the community. And we also want to extend our appreciation to the Indianapolis Executive Airport for hosting us this morning. What a great space. Right next to an airplane. I mean, but holidays are coming up, by the way, so I take one of these. But yeah, and also thank you to Rivet Coffee for keeping us caffeinated this morning, to DL Catering and Chick-fil-A for the breakfast. And finally, to every one of you here this morning, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for engaging and for your commitment to our future. Your presence here today speaks volumes about the strength of our heart in this town. So let's carry this momentum forward, and together we're shaping a future that honors our past and builds on a thriving Zionsville for generations to come. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Have a great day. God bless.